Welcome to the Round 13 Injury Report, brought to you by AIA Vitality. I'm just going to run you through the list in alphabetical order of those available for this week's game and take you a quick dive through the rehab list going into this week against Melbourne. As we spoke about last week, so Tay had that minor MCL injury, so it was a new injury in a new site, lower down on his leg. Fortunately, it was, on the minor end. Last week, Tay had just some medical intervention to assist with that healing process in the early phase of that rehab. Had a really good running session here at the club on Saturday and is now progressing through a heavy football loading sessions now over the next 2 weeks, and then will declare himself fit to play then after the bye round. So Tay's tracking really nicely now at the minute. Tyler Brown, so Tyler, as we spoke about as well last week, dislocated his shoulder at training in a fairly innocuous incident. Tyler's had a history now where he's done this sort of 3 or 4 times in the last sort of 18 months. But scans last week showed that there had been chronic changes within that shoulder joint, and that surgery was the way we had to go. So Tyler will be under the knife tomorrow, which is really unfortunate for Tyler. But looking at the long-term health of the athlete, and with Tyler being so young, this is best practice for Tyler. So again, unfortunate for him that he's going really well with AFL level and couldn't build on that continuity get into the back end of the year. But hopefully this will now help build a stronger athlete in Tay's then moving forward from next year and beyond. So we wish Tyler a speedy recovery off of his shoulder surgery tomorrow. Mason Cox, so he had that bruised larynx from a few weeks ago in a rucking contest at training here with Brodie Grundy. Had a follow-up assessment with the specialist last week just to see how that bruised larynx was travelling. Is about 80-90% full function now in it. Wasn't clear to play last week. Has his follow-up review today now at 3 o'clock. So hopefully that'll clear Mason to go into full contact training this week and be able to put his hand up for selection against Melbourne. But as I say, we're awaiting the results of that consult today at 3 o'clock. So we'll keep you posted on that. Jamie Elliott had a really strong return to play. Awesome game by Jamie. It was a real credit in the diligence that he had in the application of his rehab program. And probably just want to take this time just to give a shout out to Jamie himself for how well he got through that rehab program from a fairly significant injury, and as well a couple of other people that were really important and influential throughout that rehab process was Simon Anning, who's his case physio, Paul Baird-Colt, who looked after him in the early stage through his motor control and early phase rehab, and Dean Philopoulos, who handled his conditioning program and fully specific program out on the ground. As I say, it was such a strong return from Billy from that first game off of pretty serious injury, so it was a real credit to Billy and to the team around him and being so well prepared for that game and the impact that he had first game back. Levi Greenwood, status quo with Levi again, so he's still continuing on through non-contact football conditioning at the minute. Still hasn't alleviated from his concussive symptoms, and again, we'll be conservative and cautious with Levi until those symptoms have completely alleviated. So at the minute he'll follow that non-contact football conditioning program with giving assistance to some of those rehab players. Brodie Grundy, so we had that whiplash incident against Geelong which had that pinched nerve. Fortunately for Brodie, the signs have really alleviated the last week. He's gone into non-contact football conditioning sessions last week and this week. As I say, we'll be conservative with Brodie and reintroduce him back into AFL games post the bye. So as I say, this week and next week we'll see Brodie continuing on to build some non-contact football conditioning in preparation for us when we return post the bye. So Brodie's going really well at the minute, and some positive signs, as I say, that the signs have alleviated so well over the last week. Jeremy Howe had his first proper running session out on the ground today, so that was a real tick for Jeremy. He's pain-free, symptom-free with that hamstring since he's had the surgery done to remove the large scar tissue that was in there. So Jeremy now will progress through his strength and his function and just build that capacity over the next 2 to 3 weeks before we look at merging Jeremy back into the football program once again. So really great news for Howe, and it's brilliant to see him out on the track again. Beau McCreery had that minor calf strain a couple of weeks ago. So last week we looked at testing Beau to be involved in that game against Adelaide. So he had a high intensity running session as his third session back before we were going into main training last week. Pulled up a little bit sore off of the high intensity running session that we had, and given the fact that he's had such high loads at AFL level off the back of his first year coming in here, We decided to go conservative route and not risk him in the game against Adelaide. Had a really good session today, so about an 8K session of high-end football function and forward football conditioning and function out on the ground this morning. So he'll then take off his soft tissue running program and main train Saturday to be available for selection. So hopefully Beau gets through with flying colours this week. Reef McInnes off that ankle syndesmosis injury, so great news for Reef now. He's got rid of the boot. He'll go into an Ultra G run on Thursday, and we'll have his first overground running session on Saturday. So hopefully we'll see Reef now over the next couple of weeks progressing through straight line running conditioning and gradually then, as I say, graduate into the football program and follow a similar pathway as Billy Elliott had in his final 4 weeks preparation getting into AFL return. Trey Ruscoe. So Trey just had a little ankle roll in training last Thursday. Came out just with a pretty sore foot. We ended up getting that scan on Thursday just to clear any significant damage around the foot. Came out just with a minor foot sprain. We kept him in a moon boot for the first few days just to offload the pressure on that foot. He comes out of that now this week. We'll straight line run on Thursday to assess Trey then for full training on Saturday. But his signs are really good today. We'll be positive that he'll come good off that straight line run. And hopefully, as I say, we can slip Trey back into the full program for Saturday's main training session this week. Lastly, Braden Sier. So copped a big hit to his jaw in the first quarter of that game in Adelaide. Had some blurred vision and some dizziness where he just couldn't function at all out on the ground and had to be subbed off. At this stage, Braden will be non-contact on Thursday just to let him recover from that hit, with looking at then reintegrating into the full training session on Saturday. So Sydney this week for the round 13 clash against the D's. So looking forward to trying to knock off the top of the table outfit that is Melbourne. They're travelling superbly at the minute. But after the smash and grab bank job that we did in Adelaide, I have every confidence that the boys will put in a big performance this week. So looking forward to the big freeze, looking forward to a big performance, looking forward to travelling with the group again, and hopefully we can finish this half the season off with a big W, put a smile on the faces of the Magpie Army. Go Pies!